What's going on, everybody? Jason, Tennessee Mountain Homestead, and today we're going to be changing the belt, the deck belt out on a Craftsman DYT4000. So stay tuned. So the way I'm going to do this is remove the hood and pick it up with that jack right there. So first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the headlights. Second thing I'm going to do is remove the hood. Alright, just to get access underneath this thing without having to crawl around on the floor to see how we're going to drop the deck, what I've done here is I've got this here cherry picker, I got a sling, and I've got some trailer hooks just hooked right up underneath the frame right here in the front. And I'm going to pick it up high enough so I don't have to crawl on the floor. So there's 7 cotter pins we need to pull to get this thing to drop out of the way. There's 2 in the front, there's 1 on each side here. This is what holds the deck from going forward and backwards. There's 4 on the lift bars here. 2 in the front, 2 in the back. It's hard to see, but they're here. And then there's this one in the back. We got to pull, and that's what keeps it from swaying left and right underneath under the tractor. So we're going to go ahead and get these 4 pulled out. Then we're going to let it back down, and then we're going to get all the pins out. The cotter pins we're pulling the cotter pins out, then we're going to let it down, and then we're going to get all these bars off of the actual steel pins that are holding it up. See you in a minute. We got the 6 cotter pins out, and there was the 7th one that goes in the back so that it's on a bracket that doesn't let it sway. So what we're going to do next, here's the cotter pins right here, and they're fairly obvious to see when you're under there. Oh, Cole, watch out, buddy. We're going to let it down slowly, and then we're going to just take all those brackets off. We're going to bump the pins out of the holders on the deck, and then the deck should drop free. So another thing I'm going to do to make life a little bit easier is we're going to drop down. This deck in particular has these 4 wheels that doesn't let the blade go all the way down so that you don't cut too low by accident. They're anti-scalp wheels. Well, we're going to let these down, and then we're going to drop the deck down so the weight of the deck is on the wheels. So now that the weight of the deck is resting on these 4 wheels, now we can reach under here and pop all our linkages off the deck. And then we'll be able to jack the tractor back up, and the deck should be free. It looks like it's ready. So let's go ahead and pick it back up. Don't get underneath it, Cole. And now we've got our deck free, and you can see we shredded a belt earlier. It's hanging out. Alright, so we got the deck out from under the tractor, as you can see, and this belt shredded pretty good. And it took some stuff with it. It ripped out this cotter pin, which holds the tension spring on this idler pulley. I'm guessing it goes like that. Unless there's another washer that goes on there. Yeah, guys, we don't know how this was. It could have been like that. I don't know if there was another washer on top of this cotter pin. There probably was. Anyway, we're going to get it figured out, and then we're going to show you the reassembly. Alright, so we figured out that we're just going to add a washer to this, and we'll do that on the final assembly. But right now, at least on this deck, this has a little belt diagram. It shows how the belt routes. So I remember putting the belt on this before, about a year ago, and you kind of got to snake it past the belt keeps, like right here. No big deal. It's just thin metal. And then this part here goes to the engine pulley. Now, Yeah, this washer was present on this stud. Then we've got this spring. We're adding a washer. I don't know if there was one on top or not, but there's room for it. And then you put this cotter pin back on here. And now the spring is secure. And when we go and stretch this on the engine pulley, this will have tension. So what we're gonna do now is slide this back underneath the lawnmower. Maybe get some of this grass out first before we do that. And then we're gonna just basically do the reverse of the extraction. We're gonna just put it back under there, lower it down, put these here are the deck height. This is what picks up the deck when you pull the lever up. These two, there's one on each side, identical. These here in the front, these hooks, these rods, are what keeps the deck from going back and forth long ways on the mower. And then this here, this linkage is on the deck, and this goes up and connects right here to this bracket in the back. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins that hold this on to those brackets, and 7 cotter pins. So give us a second, we're gonna start getting this back underneath the mower. All right guys, so I kind of made a little mistake, no big deal, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when I pulled all 7 of those pins, I realized I didn't have to pull the front ones on these deck lift bars. See here, I pulled them all out thinking I needed to, but the front is connected to the deck. To the frame on these brackets. I could have left these pins in here. So I'm gonna actually put them back before we go putting the deck back under here. I think it'll make it easier. So that's the one side. That's the second side. So now, in reality, we only had 5 cotter pins to pull to drop this deck out. More in a minute. So we let the tractor down slow, and before it gets all the way to the ground, we're going to go ahead and take advantage of having some ground clearance, and we're going to put these rods back in the deck in the front here, just so it's a little bit easier on the old kneecaps, you know. And of course, if you don't have a cherry picker or something to pick your mower up with like this, you know, you could always use a floor jack, or even just do it flat on the ground. I mean, you could. There we go. Go ahead and put that pin back in. And now we're going to let it down a little bit more. And we're going to put the deck height. You know what I mean. We're going to clip all that other stuff back in. See you in a minute. I'm done reconnecting all the hangers. Everything just went right back into place. You know, you got to finagle some stuff, jiggle some stuff around, but it went back into place. And I did it flat on the ground. It wasn't jacked up. So what I am going to do though is take advantage of this jack right here. And that's how we're going to gain better access to the engine pulley, because we got to pull that belt around that engine pulley. That looks high enough right there. So come on over here. We're just going to work this belt. Well, hopefully. I got to overcome that tensioner spring. Almost. And it's on. So there you go. The belt is back on. That was a little tough to do, I admit. That might be hard if you were down flat on the ground to do that. Anyways, guys, we're gonna drop this thing back down. We're gonna take it outside, and we're gonna go see if it'll mow. All right, we're out here by the barn. We don't have a whole lot of tall grass, but we got something to cut here. Anyways, I'm going to pull this PTO for the first time since we replaced the belt a minute ago, and let's see if it fires up. Alright, so it works. Anyways, that's going to wrap for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. Like and subscribe, please, comment. And once again, my name's Jason, Tennessee Mountain Homestead, and we'll see you on the next one.